Simcha, celebration, Simcha, Simcha, celebration of life.
Welcome to Simcha, a celebration of life. I'm your host, Eitan Berger. Sinai Indaba, an initiative of Chief Rabbi Warren Goldstein, is an annual Torah convention held in South Africa, but led by the foremost international Jewish thinkers and leaders. It is built on 3 pillars: unite, inspire, discover. In addition to the enriching content and top-caliber speakers, the conference aims to bring together South African Jews of every persuasion to celebrate, reaffirm, and strengthen the moral vision and core values of the Torah in a spirit of warmth and unity.
Shavua Tov and welcome to Sinai Indaba 2014. As the Midrash says, God looked into the Torah and He created the world. The Torah is the blueprint for everything that we are. And so Sinai Indaba is about creating a world which is filled with holiness in everything we do. Sinai Indaba is also about creating unity. Unite, inspire, discover. Sinai Indaba is about unity. We are all here together under one roof in our full diversity as a community. And our guest speakers that I've been talking to and meeting over the last 2 days, you know what they're amazed and inspired about this community? Is the unity. Is the fact that we are all Jews and that we come together in spite of our differences, because of our differences. We put that aside, and that is what makes the South African Jewish community so special around the world, and that is gives us a mission to spread the message of Jewish unity from the southern tip of Africa to the rest of the world, to show what it means to be Jews, to embrace every single Jew, no matter who, no matter what, and no matter where we come from.
I just want to thank the South African community for the warm welcome and hospitality. I have been in many, many places in the world, and there is no people like South African people. They're very, very warm, very accepting, and the manners and the Menschlichkeit that they have is exemplary, and I just hope that they don't become too influenced by the rest of the world and maintain the tremendous character traits and personality that they have. And I came to this Sinai Indaba to inspire, but I'm leaving more inspired than anybody could have been inspired by me. And I thank all the people that were here that gave us the warm welcome and the encouragement that we received.
Belief includes many, many stages until you come. It's a lifelong quest. Everybody has doubts. Everybody has things that they can strengthen their belief. It's a lifelong quest to be a believer in God. It's not just crossing a line. Many, many stages. The mitzvah is specifically to people who believe, but it's enhancing and developing that belief in all of the ways I'm going to mention to you. The first, people say they believe. Do they believe and it's reality to them? Or it's just a nebulous kind of idea they have in their mind? That's also belief. I don't want to belittle it. But how real is it? I'll give you an example between something that a person believes and knows and something that he really feels. They used to give the following example. In America, they have a certain green shade of paint that all park benches all over the country are painted with. Sometimes you walk into the park and you see a sign that says wet paint, and you see the bench glistening. What are most people's reflex reaction when they see that sign? Touch the bench and look at your finger. Why? Don't you believe signs? Don't you see the paint is glistening? Why do you have to touch it and see the paint on your finger? Because you know intellectually that bench is wet paint when you see the sign. But you experience it and you feel it, and it's more real to you when you see the paint on your finger. That is the difference between knowing and actually feeling it as a reality. We say on Rosh Hashanah in our davening, God, put your fear and your awe over the entire creation. And then we say, Kemoshi Yodanu, as we know. If we know it, what are we asking God to do? The answer is we know it. We know it intellectually, but we don't feel it. We don't experience it. There's a mitzvah aside from believing there's a God, a feeling there's a God. And there is a tremendous gap between knowing, between believing, and between feeling and experiencing. And it's a lifelong quest to develop one's belief in God to be something real, not just something that he knows in his intellect. That's why it says that before Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai left this world, his students asked him for a blessing. And he said, may God, the fear of God, be so real to you like the fear of human beings. And they said, that's it? We should fear God like we fear human beings? He said, halavai. Because when a person goes to do something wrong, he looks around to see if anybody's watching. He doesn't realize God's watching. Because God's watching, he knows intellectually. But when people are watching, it's something he really feels. So halavai, we should be able to feel God as much as we feel human beings. It should be real to us. And that takes a lifelong quest of trying to transform what you know intellectually into what you actually feel as reality.
You know, it's with Rabbi Leff, it's very rare in our times to see someone who really comes from, as we say, the Haim. Someone who comes from, who saw real Torah, learned from Rav Gifter, and just to see that real Torah being given over through the eyes of someone who saw it, being taught from someone who saw it for real, who himself was taught from someone who saw it for real, to see that passed down, you could actually feel it coming over in his delivery, and that was beautiful.
Sinai Indaba celebrates unity and attests to the fact that this unity is connected directly to the Torah. Jewish sages describe the state of the Jewish people just before they received the Torah at Mount Sinai, Ke'ish echad belev echad, like one person with one heart. Sinai Indaba's vision is that the experience of learning Torah will be intertwined with the experience of unity.
Around this room, there are thousands of people here, and each and every one of us has our own fingerprints. No two are alike. Did you ever wonder why God created us like this? Billions of people in this world, and yet no two have the same fingerprints. The message from God is incredible. Just as you and I have our own physical fingerprints, we too have our own spiritual fingerprints. And with our spiritual fingerprints, we imprint this world with our blessing, our personal mission, our legacy. And we ask ourselves each and every day, how can I make my today better than my yesterday? That's really what matters most in life. How do I bring blessing into this world? What is my personal legacy? Sometimes we think that to create a legacy, we must create a huge foundation, save a village, discover a cure for a disease. But that's a mistake. The greatest legacy that you and I can give is to live better, to love better, to become a more compassionate human being, to touch people in our lives with the light that is within.
I found Sinai Indaba 2014. It was incredible. It was a great experience to be here. I found it incredible that all aspects of Judaism come together to congregate in one center to hear all about our wonderful religion.
I learned quite a lot today, different aspects, to look at things from different views, which was quite inspiring for me, I must say.
It was amazing, incredible vibe, amazing to see how many people can gather together, and there was just an amazing feeling of unity, and it was really inspiring.
Chazal, the sages tell us in the Medrash, whoever has 100 wants 200. Whoever has 200 wants 400. That's our nature. All human beings are the same. Whatever we have, we want more. But remember to be grateful for what you have. It doesn't say to be that's sufficient. You can always want more, but as long as you're going with a gratitude, with a joy, and we'll see basic things to be grateful for. That's the pasuk. Rejoice with all the good that Hashem has given you. Hashem gives every one of us something good. Many things that are good. Keep a highlights list. What have been the highlights of your life so far? Remember, I started a new highlights journal the day that my first great-grandchild was born. So in order to be able to write, my highlight of the day was, I visited my first great-grandchild in the hospital. Now the little infant, my daughter's, became a young bubby, and the first grandchild, my oldest granddaughter's son. And he didn't, when I visited him in the hospital, he didn't say, Zadie, thank you so much for visiting me. I appreciate it. He didn't notice I was there. He didn't care. But I cared. And you have automatic love for him. You see your great-grandchild first time, wow, you're full of love. Because people ask, how can you love another person if you never saw them before? They never said anything to you. You see a great-grandchild, you feel this joy. But really we ask the Torah consciousness towards everyone we encounter. Love your neighbor. Love other people. Because we're all connected. And we have over here people, every one person who came, with Sinai, Indaba, we're connected. But we're connected with everybody on the planet. And that connection brings us an opportunity to feel a sense of caring for people. And very interesting that when you do an act of kindness for someone, the pleasure part of the brain lights up. But more interesting is, even if you don't do kindness yourself, but you watch someone else do an act of kindness, the pleasure part of the brain lights up. You get your free endorphins.
Mikvah Yisrael Hashem. God is our mikvah. And God gives us subliminal, subtle messages. 70% of this planet is covered with the waters of the original mikvah. 70%. In beautiful symmetry, 70% of our body weight is mikvah. Don't you think this is God telling us? This way to the mikvah. So, it's also very important for us to remember that even if we've slacked, for whatever reason, we went, then we started feeling like it wasn't doing anything for me, it wasn't feeling spiritual, blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes we think, it's too late, I've slacked off, I can't come back. This whole idea that it's all or nothing is pernicious. Every mitzvah is precious. And consistent immersion in the mikvah on a monthly basis for the time that it's necessary is not something for only, overweight yentas with their wigs on slightly askew. It's for every Jew. And it's not for Jewish women, it's for Jewish families. When a woman immerses in the mikvah, she takes her soul and her husband's souls, and it affects the souls of her children and her grandchildren and the whole Am Yisrael. Jewish women, all heroes, have been links in this chain. Today, we need only, literally and figuratively, to walk through the door of the mikvah and gain its blessing. Mikvah, hope. Mikvah today is used in three ways. For the immersion of vessels that will be used for cooking and service. Vessels made of certain materials need to be immersed before they're used. Mikvah is also used as the pivotal anchor around which marital intimacy revolves. So to take the system and to kind of distill it in a few words, the Bible prohibits sexual intimacy between the menstruating woman and her husband for the duration of her menses until after she immerses in the mikveh. She immerses in the mikveh after she ascertains that her menses has been completed through an internal check, a simple internal examination. She waits 7 days. She cleanses herself completely because mikveh is not about hygiene. It's not about physical hygiene. It's not about getting clean. There's no cleaner person on the face of this earth than the woman about to go into the mikveh. After that preparation, she goes into the mikveh. That's about immersion of the soul. When she comes out of the mikveh, she and her husband can resume marital relations. Finally, mikveh is the crescendo, the final act in the conversion process into the Jewish faith for both males and females. So in every way, mikveh is about transformation. And if you were feeling indulgent and you would give me one more word to use about mikveh, I would say it's about elevation.
The 2014 Indaba was incredible. The speakers was one of the highest level, and particularly David Sachs was unbelievable, very inspiring, and well done to all the team, and Batzlacha for next year.
The absolute highlight of the calendar in Jewish Joburg, Sinai and Indaba. Every year you thrill, you excite, you give us amazing inspiration, amazing speakers, a big yeshukach to the chief rabbi and the organizers. We look forward every year. Every year it's bigger and better.
I'm coming back next year. It's my 4th Sinai and Indaba. I've got a complaint. I want to listen to everybody and see everybody. And I can't. They just don't allow for that. But I'm coming next year. Thank you very much, Rabbi Goldstein.
Simcha, celebration of life. Simcha, celebration of life.
This year, Sinai and Indaba launched a brand new youth track, Sinai Next. Geared specifically towards high school students, Sinai Next provided a platform for addressing some of the more provocative and pressing questions facing young Jewish people today, with a range of topics presented by a variety of cutting-edge Jewish thinkers and personalities.
The first fundamental principle of beatboxing is the word boots. Say it with me. Boots. Wow, that was really cute with the South African accent. You guys are great. Second principle of beatboxing, again, say with me after I say it, is the word cats. But if you take boots, you take cats, you put them next to each other, and you yank out all the vowels, your consonants will give you your 3 basic drum sounds. Now, Eitan, were you listening during our boots and cats lesson? Go, Eitan. All right, let's hear it for Eitan, our brave volunteer. That was awesome.
I found this year with the Sinai Next program, it's been very incredible, bringing all the youth together so they can address what the youth wants to hear. But I also found the topics that all the other speakers spoke about were very interesting.
I just want to say how amazing like the Sinai Next and all the youth tracks were. I think it was like a really great opportunity for us youth of South Africa, especially with the Holocaust. I mean, we got passports, we learned about the kids who were in the Holocaust who were never able to express or live their dreams, and we have to live it for them. And I want to thank everyone involved, the Chief Rabbi, and all the people who held Sinai Next and the whole Sinai Indaba. Thanks.
We're all best friends by the end of a day like today. Everyone just feels closeness. So from my heart to your heart, I want to share with you that I feel that there are certain moments in my life that Hashem just kind of winks at me and says, here, I just want you to know how much I love you. Certain moments like that. When I came back from the Shabbos project last year, back home to Eretz Yisrael, all I could do was tell my friends how much I think Hashem loves me by letting me see the beauty of the Yidden of Johannesburg. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to the Chief Rabbi for such inspiration. Mamash toda, from Omek Halev. Afternoon, the topic is inspiration, and which is a very, I would say, probably the easiest thing for me to naturally speak about, since I feel like I'm constantly being inspired. As a performer and as a rabbi, people always come up to you and say, "Oh, thank you for the inspiration," but it's not exactly like that, because I'm just feeding off of people's energies all the time. You know, music and words of wisdom have a way of bringing out deeper realms of people which they didn't even know existed inside of them before. So I'm just feeding off of like a boomerang effect, really. And that'll be this afternoon's speak. Cape Town was my first visit there. Beautiful, beautiful people. Every single place in the world has its own chen, its own charm. And I just pray that each time I go to a certain place, I pick up on that charm and I connect to it. So Cape Town had its own charm. And the people are magnificent. I got to play in many of the Jewish schools right before Shabbos. And I got to be with the children of the place, which was always special. And Shabbos had a unity Shabbos, Friday night, where all the shuls came together. I got the privilege to lead services on Friday night for hundreds of people came to shul. And last night was the concert in the Garden Shul, which was very, very special. And I'm very, very blessed.
That's all we have time for this week's episode of Simcha. Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to catch up on any of our previous week's episodes, please log on to our website, www.spiritsister.co.za. From myself, Eitan Berger, and the whole team here at Simcha, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.